Josephine Roseanne. I remember that she was all mine.
Welcome to Still a Part of Us, a place where moms and dads share the story of their child who was stillborn or who died in infancy. I'm Winter.
And I'm Lee. We are grateful you joined us today. Please note that this is a story of loss and has triggers.
Thanks to our lost parents who are willing to be vulnerable and share their children with us.
If you're listening to this podcast, just know that on our YouTube channel there are pictures and videos that are related to the stories that are being shared.
Subscribe and share it with a friend that might need it and tell them to subscribe. Why? Because people need to know that even though our babies are no longer with us, they're still a part of us. Welcome to Still a Part of Us. We are joined here today with Christian. Christian reached out to us on our social media and so grateful that he did. You can just tell that he is in love with his daughter, and we feel honored to be able to tell his story. So Christian, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Thank you. This is, it's something I think needed not only for myself, but I think for a greater community. So I'm very happy to be here. I will stay strong throughout. I'm doing this for her, so I'm ready to go.
Okay, wonderful. Well, so Christian, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what your family looks like, and maybe just give us an idea of like where you're located in the country, just so people know where you're at.
Sure. I'm based in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I'm born and raised in New York. I'm married to a wonderful man named Manuel, who's from Paraguay, so it's my South American flavor.
Yeah.
We have a great little dog, a Frenchie, a deaf Frenchie, which is exciting and challenging in its own.
Yeah.
He was ready to be a big brother, so he was excited, but now he gets to have us all to himself. So it's been a nice comfort and relief to have him with us.
Yeah.
I come from a very big family, so I've been so lucky having that support of family around us. I was everyone's babysitter when they had their baby. I was, the town babysitter. So everyone was so excited for us to have her.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me.
That is wonderful. And so your family is in New York also.
They're all in New York.
Awesome. And
Pretty much all in New York.
Awesome. And then how did you and Manuel meet?
We met online. We met we met online during the pandemic on Tinder, just an app. And, I dated, I always say I dated New York City. And then I was really adamant that whoever I was going to be with, I wanted to have children. It was really was a non-starter. And we met. Manuel came to my apartment in New York, and we just had a great conversation. It was like one of the first things. I know it sounds crazy probably to people, but I was so adamant that, I was over 40. I was a non-negotiator. I was going to have a baby, and he was wonderful. And, we didn't jump right into having a baby. We had a nice, courtship and dating and moving in together, and all the steps were there. We got engaged, we got married. The next natural step for some people, we bought a home, and then we were having a baby.
Yeah. So, and he was good. Obviously that was, like you said, kind of a deal breaker. That was like, I'm going to have a baby. So
from day one.
And he was definitely like, yes, I'm on board.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. That is wonderful. So how did that look for you guys when you were deciding what route you were going to go?
So again, I'm over 40. And when we decided to start, I, had done research. I had called adoption agencies, and we were kind of thinking, maybe that's the route we would go.
Yeah.
There's so many children that need a home. But after talking to adoption agencies, people were at the agencies were saying like, listen, it's very tough. It's very tough to adopt. The wait time is very long.
Yes.
And it's not really guaranteed that, on your timeline, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And as I can see, there's no guarantee to any timeline. But so the gentleman I was talking to at one of these agencies said he and his husband were doing surrogacy.
Okay.
So to look into that. So we explored that route. And again, it was something that I thought we could plan. We can I thought it was going to be easy. Egg transfer, surrogate, baby.
Yeah.
And the timeline was right, and we were able to control a little bit, but the outcome was obviously not what we expected and what we thought.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys did kind of think about that. I totally I like to ask this question because I totally forgot to. What do you and Manuel like to do as like hobbies and as a family?
We like to be together. I know that sounds hokey, but we really do like being together. I work in real estate. Manuel is a professional photographer. We're lucky that we can marry that together. So we do work
Totally.
together a lot,
Yeah.
which is very nice. He's been my rock in all of this, and I hope that I'm his as well. And we have a place upstate in the country, so we go up there, upstate New York. We go up there as much as possible. I cook, we hang out, we're with my family. We have like a great circle of friends. So yeah, I feel like we're very normal.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's great. Okay, so then I don't know much about surrogacy, so I'm wondering if you can, Christian, if you can help us kind of walk through that. Is there kind of services, or is there people that they offer their services in that way of being a surrogate?
Yeah, so I did my research on that. We landed with a surrogacy agency in Mexico City.
Okay.
Reason being is, they work with a lot of LGBTQ parents.
Yeah.
And I just had been doing my research and was talking to people online through Instagram, through Facebook, and why they chose this agency. So that was the route we went. I always say it's like the oddest thing picking an egg donor, because it's like flipping through Vogue magazine.
Right.
And we just happened to connect through a picture, which is crazy. One of her hobbies was like she loves playing tennis. And I thought, oh my God, my mother loves playing tennis. So
Yeah, you want those ties, right?
exactly. So we were very lucky. We were able to get 8 healthy embryos out of that, which is very lucky. So we do have some, if we ever wanted to do this again,
Yeah.
we could. And it was pretty smooth, for us. We began the project, or this whole thing, in October.
Okay.
And we were pregnant by February. We had 2 transfers. So what happens is they do a transfer, which is usually a 5-day transfer. So it's usually a frozen embryo.
Right.
They then transfer it into the surrogate. Our agency is very thorough in who they choose, and they have like a whole background check from mental to physical.
Right.
Everything.
Okay. For the actual surrogate, the person that is carrying the baby.
Correct. So they call them in Mexico City the carrier.
The carrier. Okay.
We were looked at as the IP, the intended parent.
Okay.
But we looked at it really, Winter is like, she was our angel on earth. She carried our dream. She welcomed our baby into her family. She was married. She has a child. So
Yeah.
I met them, they were excited. So it's been so many different moving parts, and there's so many different emotions that we're playing with. And she really, from day one, I tried not to annoy her, and I would never tell her what to eat, but I always wanted to check on her to see how she was doing,
Yeah.
and just to thank her, because she really, it's beyond explanation how generous it is for someone to do that.
Yes. Oh, complete. Yes. That is, yes, it is amazing. It is amazing.
And yes, there is a monetary,
Yes.
component to it, but it's beyond that.
Oh, yes.
It's beyond that.
I know.
It's
I was
fine.
like,
It's no money.
carrying a baby is a totally different thing. So
I can only imagine, and seeing it through her was beautiful to see. And I will say real quick, we want to do surrogacy, like, selfishly. I wanted to see a little me.
yeah. Yeah.
So I would look at my niece and nephew and family. I'm like, oh my God, I see myself in them. So I thought there was something really beautiful and exciting about that.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you were the sperm donor, you're the dad.
Correct. Correct.
And then you had found an egg donor and then, like you said, flipping through the catalog. And then the agency, did the agency choose the carrier, or were you able to choose the carrier?
So we had, so I'm the sperm donor. So or the father. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
So you have me, you have the egg donor, you have the surrogate.
Yes.
We tried one egg embryo transfer, and for our first one, it didn't stick.
Okay.
It didn't stick, as I like to say. And then they vet these mothers. They give us a background of
Yes.
who she is, our surrogate, and they chose her because she was ready and she had gone through all of the hormone injections, etc.
Yes, and that also is hard too. Yeah,
I can only imagine. And again, it was fate.
Yeah.
We were matched with her. It was fate. This whole process has been fate.
Okay.
Good and the bad.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm assuming she was down in Mexico?
Correct. She's in Mexico City.
Okay, so would you guys just check in via Zoom, or like that would be kind of a little hard for me, I think, to just kind of be a little far away from her.
Yes. And my personality, I was like, oh my God, can I fly down there? I went down as much as they would allow me to go.
Okay.
But I wanted to be there for the heartbeat. I wanted to see her. I wanted to meet her. My husband speaks fluent Spanish. I'm trying really hard. I thought, when we had Josephine, I needed to learn Spanish fluently because I thought I'd have two people talking behind my back. So,
you got to be careful about that kind of thing.
Exactly. So I was practicing my Spanish. I went down there. I wanted to speak to her in Spanish, to thank her. So that's how the first time I met her, I wrote her a little note and I said it in my butchered Spanish. And it was a beautiful experience.
That is wonderful. So tell me, everything started kind of in October, and then this particular transfer, which was the third transfer?
It was our second
transfer.
Our second.
Wow.
Yeah, we were lucky. We were lucky.
Yeah, because sometimes that doesn't quite, go as smoothly.
Especially Winter, everyone said, oh, it's so easy. Surrogacy, again, talking to all these other parents that I met, like transfer pregnant baby again, like I said. So it's a little deflating when it didn't work the first transfer.
First time. Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, I already had the name picked out. I was really crazy. And then I thought, okay, Christian, pull yourself together, let the next one go. It's in God's hands. And of course as much as you tell yourself that, you're like, you're so like crazy. And then we found out, so the egg transfer was February 10th. And then 5 days later, they do the blood test to confirm that she's pregnant. And then it was just, typical steps from there. And, I watched her go from a poppy seed to an avocado. On my computer, I had like, what does she look like today?
Yep. So, and then it took in February, and this is a 2025.
Correct.
Okay. Like, how exciting. Like, so how did you guys get the news? I kind of want to know how you got the news. And
how did we get the news? I was at work and I got an email from I think I missed a call from our agency. So we then have a coordinator who, again, our agency is incredible. Yeah. They really, were with us, side by side from day one. So they contacted us, they called us, but then they also do everything in writing as well. So we got, the blood tests, all of that stuff. So that's how we found out. We tried to be quiet about it. We celebrated. We told my mom and we told my best friend.
Okay.
So it was intimate little circle who knew right away.
Yes. How exciting.
And my brother. I told my brother.
Okay. I don't know. It's just exciting. So, and you had obviously with the embryos, you knew the gender, right?
Correct.
Beforehand. So you knew going in that she was going to be a girl.
Well, no. So we said that whatever the strongest embryo, we had 8 strong embryos, but I said, whatever's the strongest, just go with it. We don't care. We just wanted a baby.
Yeah.
So I think the first transfer was a boy, and then the second was Josephine, and I'll tell you the secret. So I didn't want to know the sex.
Okay.
But then I remembered the email they sent, what each exactly. So I went back
You're
and
like,
I looked like exactly. So I knew, and then of course I told Manuel, and then it wasn't until we were far along that we told other people finally, like, I was trying to keep it a secret, but who cares?
Yeah.
So I started telling people. I didn't tell the name. We didn't tell anyone the name.
Okay. I do actually want to ask about the name. Where did you come up with her name?
So it's a beautiful story. I had a childhood nanny growing up from when I was 4 months until I think I was 12 when she stopped coming every day. But I would say she's my soulmate.
Yeah.
She knew who I was before I knew who I was. And her name is Josephine. So
What a beautiful tribute.
So I always say that, fate brought her into my life 46 years ago, because now she's taking care of my baby.
It's beautiful to think about.
And then Roseanne, Manuel's mother is Rose, and my mother's Anne.
Oh.
So my mother would kill me if she didn't get in there somehow. So that was her. That's how we came up with her name.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
I love family names. So I love how you guys put that together. Oh, it gives me chills to think of Josephine taking care of Josephine.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Honestly, she's in no better hands.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
My dad's up there with her, which is wonderful, and my grandparents, paternal and maternal. But again, she was just so special to me. It's hard to describe that relationship we had.
Yeah. Well, the way you said,
gives me such comfort.
Yeah.
This is all meant to be.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so you had known that she was going to be a girl, and then were you kind of getting? I'm sure that as they were checking on her at 8 weeks and 12 weeks, and you were kind of tracking all of that and seeing how she was doing. You guys got you got reports for everything, I'm assuming.
Every single thing. I checked in, even when there was not a report. I would check in. I would try not to be annoying, but you're so excited. You carry your children. I'm so lucky again that Miriam, our surrogate, carried our child. So I didn't get to see the day-to-day. So
Yes.
I tried to be as much in the day-to-day as possible.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited, as you can imagine.
Oh,
I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know when she was moving.
Yeah. Did you for the big ultrasounds and those kind of appointments, were you able to go down and be a part of that? Okay.
I went down. I was a part of it.
Okay.
Which, that was no question that I was going to do that. And again, they were wonderful and lovely, and she was great. And, they normally don't allow intended parents, is what, we were, to be in the delivery room. I know I'm jumping ahead of the game, but I talked to her then. I want to get on her good side. So I bring her food and her kid food. So she was letting me be in the delivery room with her. So we formed a nice relationship.
Oh, good.
Despite the language barrier, love speaks.
Yes, it does. And how did everything look at that scan, or the anatomy scan? Everything looked
great.
Good?
Everything looked good.
Awesome.
She had, her fluid was good, and her heart rate was good, and she was growing beautifully and perfect. And, with that, I was, dreaming about what's coming. And there was never even a thought in my mind what happened could happen.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here today.
Yeah.
Because and I understand why people don't speak about it, but I think it is vitally important that we do speak about it. I think it's important to see how it really affects people
Oh,
and how much silence is really, I think, the underlying real killer in what we go through is people not talking about it.
yes.
I can't imagine.
It is so hard, like when nobody says anything about it. So yes, we'll cover that because that is one of the things, like you said, it's so hard, and you feel so alone in all of this.
Yes.
So Christian,
Still.
yes, still,
Still.
exactly, yeah,
I don't know. Listen, this happened September 23rd, of 2025. So we're recently newly out of it. But the way I look at it, Winters, is it doesn't get easier. To me, it almost gets harder
yeah,
because the reality sinks in even more.
yeah.
So
Those,
it doesn't ease, and for me, it has not eased in time. It's just become more of a reality. I literally will walk down the street and I'll stop at my tracks and say,
yeah,
I cannot believe this happened.
yeah,
I can't. I
yeah.
cannot believe it.
It is. It's so shocking. It's so unnatural. Like, yes, you just can't believe
And
it's
then
happened to you.
it's happened to me. It's happened to you. It's happened to so many people I have met or spoken to or posted on Instagram. And at first I thought, oh, maybe this is a little too much. But then the people came out of the woodwork to share their
Yeah.
stories, or this happened to my daughter, my granddaughter. This happened September 23rd. I had someone call me yesterday who I haven't talked to in 10 years.
Oh,
She knew about this in September, and she called me yesterday to offer her condolences. And it meant so much because
yeah,
she was thinking about us.
yeah,
So I think people get nervous what to say, or they don't know how to say anything, which I understand, but it means so much hearing from people.
it
I'm sure you understand that. I'm sure Lee
hugely.
understands that.
It's huge. It's so kind when people say our son's name. It's like music to our ears, isn't it? Like
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, you just can't help but miss them and love on them. And
Hmm. I talked to her a lot.
good. Yes, good.
I yelled at her in the early days, like, how come you did this? What are you creating up there? Hopefully she's got something in the works for me,
Yes,
for us.
she probably does. Okay, so Christian, everything looks good at that. Miriam, the surrogate, is she feeling good? Do you know, like, is she having morning sickness? Is she? I always love talking about that kind of stuff because it's like this is part of who Josephine is. She was
Totally.
so.
Totally. I
And
remember like
oh, go ahead.
getting like a stomach bug, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is how Miriam must feel like morning sickness." Like I was trying to really live through her. I think she had morning sickness in the beginning, but it's pretty smooth sailing. Easy for me to say, but no issues. A normal pregnancy, and she was feeling great, and she was so excited.
Oh,
She
good.
was so excited, which was a beautiful thing to see.
It is.
Excited to carry our baby.
I know it is. Like I just think that is so, like you said, you called her your angel, and I just think it's a beautiful thing. Like she's part of that she has a bond with your baby, and I just think
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Okay, so then everything is going along. She's doing okay. I don't know. I'm assuming that because they are going through the surrogacy program, that they are checking on Josephine the entire time, and she's doing good. Like she is.
Great. She's doing great.
She's doing good. She's moving a ton.
Moving a
Or like
ton.
she got some good
Yep.
motion
She
and everything.
moved. She was, yeah, she's moving. She's healthy. She was growing at a great normal rate. Everything was great. She was, I always say we almost made it to the finish line.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect. We never even had a blip of something. Again, we tested the best embryo. We did everything to make sure everything we could control was perfect. Little did I know that there's just things out of our control.
Yes. It is so frustrating. And then Christian, did you, I like to kind of ask these questions. Did you guys have a baby shower, or were you planning on something after the fact? Tell me what you guys did to celebrate. I'm sure your families were so excited.
They were, like I said, I was the first babysitter for everybody in my family. So when I had a lot of people in our ear, when are you doing this? When are you doing this? When are you doing this? So we finally got to that point. We were so excited. We had our baby shower on September 20th, which is a Saturday.
Yeah.
My husband is a photographer, as I mentioned, at his photo studio, and my whole family came, men, women, all our friends. And
Wonderful.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And it was so fun to see, it was so nice to see everyone was as excited as we were.
Yeah.
And then winter, that was the 20th. The 21st, we went back to the studio that morning. We had brunch. We opened the presents that people kindly brought us, and the books that people wrote their note in, that why they chose that book for us. That was a Sunday. And then Monday, we had a friend coming over. We live in a duplex in New York City. So we were going to move from downstairs, our bedroom, to upstairs, and then make the nursery in our current bedroom.
Okay.
And we had a friend coming over that Sunday to help move stuff. And so I was just packing things and everything Sunday. And then, Monday he was coming to help move stuff. And I was at home, and I had a missed call with the Mexico area code. And I thought, I didn't think much of it. And then, again, I'm on a high from a baby shower 2 days before. Yeah. And then he called again, our coordinator, and told us that Miriam didn't feel well, and she went to the agency or the clinic, and they did tests, and there was no heartbeat. And he told me over the phone, and I was mid-packing. I'll never forget. I was right here to my right. I know the position. I know the pillow that I was fluffing. I know what I was putting in a box. And I was in utter shock. And Manuel wasn't home. He was working. So I had to call him. I knew I had to call him, but I didn't know what to say. And then I hung up the phone. I thought, maybe that was just a terrible prank.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that couldn't have been real, maybe. And then I thought, I'm not going to call Manuel right away. Let me wait maybe 10 minutes, and they'll call back and they say, like, we called the wrong parent. I didn't get that call. So then I went downstairs, and I called Manuel, and, we talk all the time, and he answered, and, it's always he's always nice greeting when I call. Mm-hmm. And I had to tell him that I think I said, her heart stopped beating. And he said, who? Because it was so foreign. This idea was so foreign to us. And I then waited on the couch. He was in Jersey City doing a photo shoot. So I had to wait probably an hour sitting on the couch with Dante, our deaf Frenchie, who just melted in my lap. He could feel my heart breaking. And all I could think of was, Manuel has this heavy news. I had to tell him. I couldn't say come home. And he was waiting for subways. Subways were delayed, and just wanting to be home. And I think it was in that moment you really became a parent. Like I said, we didn't carry her. It was then the loss. I don't know. It's just, it engulfs every parent. And he walked in the door, and I know that he was so concerned about me, and he was sobbing, and we were just in complete shock, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I called. It was late. So I didn't call my mom or anyone till the next morning. So I woke up, and I know my mom is up early, and I called her, and I think I said the same thing. Mom, her heart stopped, and she I don't even remember what she said. She was in such shock that she said something. I love you. Everything will be okay. And she hung up. She wasn't rude or cold. She just she was the grandmother.
Yeah.
That hit her.
Yeah.
And she called back within 10 seconds. And she had my sister with her. And it was, she just, had the response my mother I knew would have is, we're going to do it again. And I wasn't there, but it right away, it was like, we have hope. There's hope. And I think from that very second, I wasn't ready. I don't know, I wasn't ready, but I don't know, it triggered something in me that, I don't know. It is possible. It is. Josephine was possible. Josephine was.
Yeah.
She was possible.
Yeah.
But she was, she's my baby.
Yeah.
She is my baby.
Yep. She is.
So then, that was the 22nd, and they were doing they had to do a procedure, the C-section.
Oh.
On the 23rd. So it's the night of the 22nd. I didn't know what to do. And Manuel right away is on the computer, booked plane tickets to go to Mexico City. And so we had to fly there. And it really showed me what kind of parent he is, because without missing a beat, we were going to be there for her. And I was in another planet. I remember being in the airport. I remember landing in Mexico City and having to go to the clinic. And you tell me when to stop. You tell me.
No, this is great.
I'll let you lead the way. So we got to the clinic and we walked in, and there was a same-sex couple holding their newborn baby, maybe a couple hours old. Which in hindsight, it was beautiful, because it just kept reassuring me that this is possible. And I wasn't already thinking about doing it, obviously, then. And so then they brought us into an office with the doctors, with our coordinator, and they told us what happened, and that they filmed the C-section. The procedure was done when we were on our way there. It was an emergency. So they filmed it, and Manuel wanted to watch it. I couldn't. And they said she got wrapped in her umbilical cord twice.
She did.
From all her dancing and twirling in Miriam. And then I didn't know what to expect. Again, my head was not even here. And they said, I didn't think we'd be able to see her, because I didn't know.
Yes.
This was so foreign to me. I didn't know anything. So they said, would you like to see her? And I was blown away, and I didn't know what we were going to see. I didn't know what we were going to see. And so of course we wanted to see her. And I remember leaving this office, and then in Mexico City, it's a really beautiful facility, and they have, the almost like the everyday doctor's office where they go for checkups, where they did the embryo transfer, all that stuff. And then downstairs they have the part of the agency, which is a working hospital just for this clinic where they birth all the babies. And we said we wanted to see Miriam, our surrogate. So I remember walking in, and it was every single nurse was lined up against the wall. They knew why we were there. This is the furthest along little over 8 month baby who was stillborn. And I remember just seeing the grief-stricken look in their faces. And it was touching and horrifying all at the same time, because they knew why we were there.
Yeah.
And we went to see Miriam right away, who's recovering. She was with her husband, who was kindly taking care of her and cleaning her. And he was as devastated as she was, because he was living with her getting pregnant as well.
Yeah.
He knew how much this meant to her to have the baby for us. And so we went in there, and Manuel was wonderful, and I couldn't speak, and he just thanked her, and for carrying our dream, for helping create our dream. And I just held her hand, and I just held her tight, and she held me tight, and then we left her room. We wanted to see Josephine, and again, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what condition. If I'm going to be really honest, I thought like she was going to be in a freezer.
Yeah.
I didn't know what.
Yeah.
I didn't know what. So they took us to where she was. And they had her wrapped so beautifully. And she was in a bassinet. And, you're a mother. And everyone tells the story that when you see your baby, your heart breaks open with love. And it did. It did. But then it was this crushing feeling of it, this immense feeling of love wrapped up with, she's not with us.
Yeah.
And I made sounds I didn't know were possible. It was animalistic. It was guttural. And the two of us, they gave us all the time we wanted. We held her. We said prayers to her. We said prayers with her. We took pictures with her. You asked me earlier what is something I remember about her, and she had the sweetest little lips and such a nice nose. And they had a little hat on her, and they had her swaddled, and she was our baby. She was our baby. It was so real in that moment that we had our baby. And I always say that I didn't fully think out this dream. I also wanted the baby to bring her home. So then, and then, I do faintly remember, between, our anguish and sobbing, I heard babies crying in the background.
Yeah.
And I found it so beautiful. Again, it just kept going through my head that this is possible. I'm a big believer in when you're in hell, just keep walking. Yeah. That's just how I try to live my life. And I just, I stopped walking in that moment, but little things were out there just to help me breathe. Not even thinking that I'm going to have a baby. I needed to breathe. And I falsely told myself, like, you're alive, or I was alive. So then we held her, we put her down, which is just, as you know, impossible because you're then leaving the room.
Yeah.
Our little girl, she's not coming with us. And Manuel had watched the video, as I think I told you, of the C-section. And again, he saw that her umbilical cord was wrapped, and we didn't see any of that. She looked so beautiful. And then we left, and again, leaving that room, everyone there could hear us. And I know Miriam could hear us. And just the expressions when we came out were heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time, because they were as invested in her as we were. And they were as fearful of seeing us, not because we were going to do anything, but just of our reactions. And they witnessed it. Yeah. And we're the furthest along pregnancy that this agency has ever had a stillborn child, which I wish I wasn't the one. So then we were in Mexico City for, I think, 3 or 4 days, because they were doing the cremation. And because it's not in the United States, there's all paperwork that needs to be done and finalized for us to just take her ashes home.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So really to backtrack, when we were figuring out how to go there, I just found something. I used my Chase points to find some hotel.
Yes.
And I didn't care
We
where we
just needed,
slept.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, until we got there. And I thought, we can't stay here. I can't have my daughter here. Mexico City is beautiful. There's nothing against Mexico City.
No.
I just thought the energy in this hotel, I thought, I can't do this. The first night, I sobbed all night, shaking and sobbing all night. And I know moving to another hotel wasn't going to solve that, but I thought, I just knew we were getting her the next day, that we needed to do something. So I don't think either of us slept. I remember getting up in the middle of the night, and there was a beautiful park outside, and going outside and just sobbing and shaking and not being able to walk, and just trying to think of somebody that I knew that went through this. And I had a friend she was one of 11, and her mother had a stillborn daughter, and I reached out to her. And I just remember saying, this is a club that I'm now a member of, that I wish I was not a member of, but am I going to be okay? Am I going to see tomorrow? Am I going to be the same again? And I'm not. I'm never going to be the same again. But am I going to be okay? And she was gracious enough to answer me and tell me, yes, we're going to be okay. And her children, who I know forever, also, were a great resource and comfort. And then we decided to get tattoos. So in Mexico City, we were walking around and we got tattoos. Each of us got a J. And I will say, it was so nice for the two of us to be away together for those days during this grief.
Yeah.
Because the grief wasn't then brought to our home here in New York City. It came with us. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Those initial terrible memories are not here in our home.
Yes.
They're there.
Yeah.
They're there. Again, it's with us. It's with me. I think about it every second, but it's a different,
yes.
I don't know.
No, it's like change of scenery. Yeah. It's like,
change of scenery.
Yeah.
And we were together. And like I said, started with, we like to be together, and we were together grieving, and we were grieving. We were walking, we were laughing. We went through every emotion, not callously laughing, but trying to feel alive. So back to my hotel thing. So we were walking, and we passed this, it looked like a beautiful hotel, and we walked in, and we were getting her ashes. So I thought, if she's going to come home with us, I need her sleeping in a really nice hotel room.
Yeah.
So we passed this hotel, and we just walked in, and I said, we'd like a room. And, she was a little startled. So she said, I only have 2 left. I have this room and I have a penthouse. So, we'll take the penthouse. We won't get crazy. We'll take this room. So we went into that room. We got inside. It was beautiful. And we looked at each other and said, we'll take the penthouse. This girl deserves the penthouse.
Yes. Yes.
So we went downstairs. We got the penthouse hotel room. We checked out of the other one. We got our stuff. We went back there, and we brought her home, or she came to us, and we all slept together in bed, she in her little box. And it was beautiful. That change of scenery was beautiful. I couldn't have had it in the other place we were staying. And again, it was nothing against that place. It was just, I entered that space in a mess.
Different, yes.
And I couldn't have her there with me being in that state. So, it brought us a little comfort moving, and, I thought she'd be proud that she got to stay in a nice fancy hotel room.
It's like, ultimately, like, at the very bottom of it is like, you want to take care, you want to give her the best. That's all there is to it. Like, as a parent, you just want to give your kids the best. And like, how beautiful is that? I just think that is so cute. Like,
I want her to have the best quality of sheets.
Yes, exactly.
For her first night, and she had it. And it's funny, we went out to dinner the second night we were there, and she was with us in the room, and we tucked her in the bed, and we talked to her, and we went out, and we just felt good with her being in that space. It wasn't our home, so it was sort of our home away from home.
Yeah. treating her like a princess. I think that's
Exactly. She's
so,
our
so
little
sweet.
girl. Our little girl.
So obviously paperwork is always a thing. So did you guys get all of that worked out so you could travel back home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Manuel handled all that. We got all her paperwork. Again, I think it was 3 or 4 days. We got there on Monday. I think we left on Friday, so I guess 5 days.
Okay.
And when we were there, he was doing all the paperwork, and I am a lapsed Catholic, but I found faith really quickly.
Yeah.
So I started planning her service
Oh, okay.
when I was there, and
Yeah.
and telling people, that was the hardest part.
Oh,
Telling people, the messages were beautiful, but having to verbalize it, or even just in a text, it just kept making it real and real and real. So that was very tough. And then we flew home with her, and we flew home on a Friday, and we had our service on Sunday.
okay. Okay.
That was the 29th, September 29th.
That is so much that happened in a week.
Crazy. I kept saying most people plan their children's first birthday. I was planning a funeral.
Yeah. And it's horrible.
And I had to do it.
Yeah.
I wasn't not going to do it. I had to do it.
Yep.
And it was just surreal, and figuring out what my brother was going to say, or my sister was going to say, Manuel was going to speak, and, who were asking to come. And, there was, I don't know if you felt it, but then there was this weird feeling I have, like I don't want people to think of, maybe am I going too much for having a funeral?
Yeah.
Am I celebrating it too much? Am I not celebrating enough? All these emotions we're going through, but I'm so glad we did it. Yeah, it had to be done. She was our baby. We needed to celebrate her.
Yeah.
She was a full-grown baby. We could have taken her home.
Yeah.
We did take her home, but not in the sense that I wanted.
Yeah. And so you guys got home, and there was a couple of days, really, right? That there was Saturday that you were home.
Saturday.
And then Sunday you guys had her service.
And then Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
That was the first time I saw my family.
Okay.
And they came in for that, and it was beautiful. It
just, yeah. Yeah. Can you tell me about the service and like what people said? I would love to hear.
So again, treating her like a little princess, I wanted her to have the most beautiful flowers. So we had a beautiful flower arrangement to her. And I remember going in there, and I thought I was composed and okay. And then Manuel had put her little ashes box up on the front by the altar where the flowers were. And that really just hit me. And then it was beautiful. The priest was wonderful. He had beautiful teachings about or readings about how, just how unfair this is, and how these babies, are unblemished to the world and can go to heaven. And Manuel spoke. He said a prayer in Spanish. My sister said a prayer, and my brother said a prayer that my father said to us when we were children.
Oh,
so
really?
it was beautiful, and it really I broke down a lot, which is normal and natural. And it was hard to see my family. They were, as my niece and nephew it would be their first cousin.
Yeah.
It was my mother's grandchild.
Yeah.
My sister's niece. It's so seeing them grapple with the grief too was hard to navigate.
Yeah. It's so everybody's grieving a loss in one way or the other, and it's profound. It is, because you're like, that's part of our family. And
yeah, we have a huge family text chain. My sister said something to the effect is like, she's so loved in this family, and she never said a word. And it was just so sweet and true.
Yeah.
And it really, honestly, it still feels like a movie, going from this high of a baby shower to basically the next day, the loss of your child.
Yeah.
It's surreal. it's surreal. And I think having those steps of the ceremony in a way kept her alive in a sense, because
Yes.
it was like we were just planning her
Yeah.
for those first few days, and then after that service, this whole new wave of emotions came,
Yeah.
and that's when I think that's when it really hit me.
Yes. When you're just like, what? Yes. What is this? Is this our reality? And it's bizarre. And you're like, that can't be.
And I remember I started telling people in my building here in the city that we were having a baby, because you become friends with people. I'm in this building over 15 years.
Yeah.
Your neighbors, and people saw us leaving the day of the baby shower with flowers. I remember this one guy in my building saw us leaving with flowers to go decorate the baby shower, and then he didn't see me again until the Sunday of her service, bringing flowers home, different flowers from the service back home to our apartment. And he said something to the effect as, "Oh, you must have had an exciting day, or how was the shower?" And I just told him she was stillborn, and saying it out loud, that I remember that
Being
totally took me back. And the poor guy, he didn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
And then another neighbor saw us, and the same thing. How was the baby shower? And then we'd tell her, and she's a mother, and she started weeping, which is normal and natural and to be expected. And saying it out loud having to tell people was. We waited so long to say we were having a baby, and then you had to say that what happened. And it still is tough.
Yeah.
It's still tough.
It is.
And then I remember coming home, and I was walking Dante, our dog, and I saw a neighbor who I know that she has 2 children. She's a midwife, and we were just chatting, and I told her, because another neighbor who asked, and she started crying. I was crying. I couldn't form words, and I said, "Do you see this?
Yeah.
Do you see this happening in your line of work?" And she said, "It happens all the time, and no one talks about it."
She said that.
She said that, and she said, "Christian, find a group." Yeah. And she texted me that night, a friend who went through this, who put me in touch with someone else, and we got in touch with people who have gone through this as well, and that was so helpful. Talking about it was incredibly important. Incredibly important.
Yeah. You just have so much love and so much excitement and everything, and then it's gone, and then you're just left with like, what's happening? It really messes with your mind.
But still.
Yeah.
I went recently. I took myself to a Broadway show. I wanted to see something, and I was like, it's one of the things Josephine and I were going to do. Is I go to a show, mid-show, I'm sobbing. I was like, oh my God. So it comes in waves. I work in real estate, and I'm lucky to sell very nice homes, and it's usually people who are having babies.
Yeah.
And starting families. And I met, a same-sex couple a couple weeks ago, and they asked, "Oh, are there any other children in the building?" And legally, I can't answer that, so I didn't answer that. But they said, maybe we'll be the first. We're doing a surrogate, and it just hit me. And I walked home after, and I went to Manuel, and I said, I was jealous, and that was a terrible feeling. I was jealous, and then I thought, I'm not jealous that they're having a baby. I'm jealous that the feelings that they were feeling in that moment, because I remember feeling that excitement. I remember feeling that, wanting to buy something, maybe looking for a bigger place, like all the steps that happen when you're having a baby, and that excitement just never became a reality. And that hit me hard, and it's still, again, I sell homes to people who are growing their families, and that's been tough to navigate. I'm very professional, but it hurts. It hurts.
It does. It
hurts. And I'm forever changed.
Yeah. Just completely. You're a different person. And I think that has been really hard for me, is you mourn the person that you were. And like you said, that excitement and everything, you're like, am I going to be able to still have that same excitement in the future. And because you just are like, I'm different now. I know that there's something this could happen. And you're just kind of sad about like who you once were.
Exactly. Like we went to like a mass, a mass, maybe a month or two after she died, and they said her name up there, and her name was in the little, playbill that they give in church. And I thought we should be seeing this at her school performance.
Exactly.
Not so happy to hear her name in church as someone that we're praying for. So it's radical.
Yeah.
It's radical. But again, I think it's imperative to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think it's imperative to share your grief. I think I'm proud of her, so I'm going to talk about her.
Yes.
Completely. And people want to hear.
Yeah.
And people want to talk about it. And, I went to like a work Christmas party, and someone beelined for me, and I've known her for a long time, and she had heard about Josephine, and, in the middle of the party, she's, hugging me and just sharing my grief. And I was holding myself together. And she said, my daughter went through it. Oh. And no one talked about it. And she said, not until I saw your post did I even know of somebody who's gone through this. And she kept saying, I don't know how you're here. And again, my motto is got to keep moving forward. Okay. You don't shake that grief, but you can't wallow in it.
Yeah.
And I started getting to a feeling where I didn't want to leave the house, where I was sleeping a lot. I probably lost maybe 5 to 10 pounds because I wasn't eating. I still can't drink coffee, really. And just all the steps that come with grief, Yeah.
It changes you. Christian.
And you think, I try to be a good person, and we're all imperfect.
Oh, yes.
What did we do wrong? Mm-hmm. What did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a question you're never gonna.
Yes. It's. I unfortunately there's nothing I think that we did wrong. It's a natural response to say I must have done this to cause this, and it's unfortunately it just is the natural way the brain goes. I think.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to blame yourself. It's so easy to blame yourself.
Yeah, and I was blaming myself. I don't know what I didn't know what I did wrong, and then I think maybe we're very strong, so maybe that's why this was unfortunately given to us, and maybe in a way where I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
it's got to be some. I haven't found the good in this yet. But there's got to be something. Yeah. There's got to be something out there that this happened to us. And I always say, if we do try to have a baby again, she's up there and she's gonna, help hopefully see the next one all the way through to my arms.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that. Christian, I just want to make sure that we are talking about Josephine as much as you would like. So I wanted to ask you, I know that you talked about how cute her little lips were and her nose. Tell me, did she have a lot of hair? Did she?
Yeah, she had. It was crazy. It was wild.
Did she have a ton of hair?
A ton of hair. A ton of hair, and I have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And it's very short now, but I have very thick curly hair. And she going in there, seeing this head of hair, and again, seeing my baby.
Yeah.
Seeing my baby, seeing my nose, seeing my face. It was surreal. It was absolutely surreal. It was real and surreal at the same time. We really had a baby, but then she's not here, which is surreal.
Yeah. And I actually am curious, did you guys, were you able to unwrap her and just look at her? That was one thing that I did not realize that I could have done when we had our son. So I'm just not sure what they were able to tell you when you were there. You could.
I was scared too.
Yeah.
I was scared too. She was swaddled, and she had, we did take her little bonnet off because I wanted to see her hair. But we didn't. I was afraid of what I would see because of the umbilical cord.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't want to unswaddle her, but in hindsight, I wish I brought so many dresses. I wish I dressed her.
Oh.
That was the one thing I forgot to take with us. is an outfit for her. So that's where I dropped the ball, but
Yeah.
she's still cute.
Yes. Still
And
so
she was weighty. She was weighty. She was our baby. She
yeah.
was our baby.
And I don't think, because she was okay, so she was basically, what week was she born? She was like 36 weeks or so, 37.
No, I think a little further along than that.
So okay.
She was just about we were just about 8 months pregnant.
Okay.
It's interesting with the egg transfer because it's once the embryo is transferred, you're almost like a month pregnant.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a little different. That's why I was like, and I don't think people realize that when you have a stillborn baby that late, like they're weighty, like you said. She's good size. She has hair. Yeah.
She went from a poppy seed to a baby.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm so glad that we got to hold her, and I have that memory forever through my sobbing, weeping, guttural sounds. It still was beautiful.
Yeah. Did Miriam, I'm wondering if Miriam like held her or was with her at all. I don't know what the process is down in Mexico or how people consider stillbirth there, because I know that there are some countries that are very like, nope, like they don't, and that's something that they don't acknowledge, and that's hard.
No, I think she had her C-section, and I remember just thinking it must have been such a quiet room.
Yes.
Because they know what's happening. The doctors know, Miriam knows that she's about to deliver a stillborn baby. So that's all I thought about is how she handled that.
Yeah.
And again, then she's taking into account us. So I think she did see her briefly, and then I think they took her
and swaddled her
and did what they had to do. And yeah.
Do you know if they were they able to do anything like little handprints or footprints?
No, and I didn't even think about that stuff.
I know you
Not
just
until after.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I would have loved to have that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I forgot a dress. I also forgot the little prints.
Yeah. No, this is, you just don't think about those things. Like we had to have somebody do it for us. If somebody else hadn't done it for us, we would have not had them. So
I linked up with this foundation who they do something called caring cradles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now Josephine is being honored at University of Pennsylvania, where they're doing in honor of her caring cradle. And what that is it is basically a warming bed. So it really didn't benefit us being here and Josephine being in Mexico City, but for women who are having their babies and it's stillborn, or they then have a cradle that they can put the baby in, which regulates the temperature, so the baby doesn't get cold too fast. So you can then have a proper goodbye.
Yeah,
which I think that's beautiful and needed.
Yeah,
because it's overwhelming. I can't even. Look how I am. I can't even get through this. I can't imagine carrying the baby and, like I said, birthing the child, knowing that it's not alive.
Yeah,
Utter silence in that room must be palpable.
It is. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great
I
at
can't
all.
even. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I can't even imagine. And Lee.
Yeah,
I can't. That's horrifying to me.
I mean, when you talked about, you're like, I made these sounds that I did not know could come out of me, and that's the weeping and it's just wailing. You don't know where it's coming from because it's your heart breaking.
Who told you?
It was the doctor that came in and confirmed, but I knew. It was funny because when the first nurse came in to check and see, find the baby's heartbeat, she's like, I'm having a little hard time. Let me get somebody else to go out. And I started crying because I was like, her job is to find baby's heartbeats. If she can't find it, then something's wrong. And I just started crying, and
she must know in that moment.
Yes, she did. And like, it's just, and then you're the bearer of bad news, and you have to do the entire procedures and everything. And I just think of your coordinator that had to call you and give you guys that news, and I just it's horrible. It's horrible.
Terrible. I can't even imagine. And again, like I said, this has never happened to this agency,
Yes.
and they're like renowned for having such high success rate.
Yeah.
And so then I can't. When he called, I couldn't even imagine what was going on his side. That was horrible as well.
Yeah. It's just horrible all around. Getting the news, giving the news, all of it. And Christian, I'm glad to. I actually want to go back really fast to that the cot. You were telling us something about this very special cot and where it ended up. And can you tell us that story? I want people to know how it ended up, or how kind of fun that coincidence is at where it is at.
So I always have in my, I had her whole life planned. I had the meal she was going to miss I make when she went away to college. And for some reason, I had been reading something just about how UPenn was like such a great school. I don't even know. I'm not a college guy or like even care about that, but I was like, maybe that'd be a good school for her to go to one day. I already had her in college. And then just fate has it that this caring cradle is being dedicated to her at UPenn. I'm from New York. There's no tie association. I didn't express this to anyone except you and Manuel. And it's just these little moments of her talking to me.
Yep. Which is
I do believe in that now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think our kids are always wanting to be in touch with us, and
Agreed.
I just think that was so cool when you were telling us that. I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
It is sweet. It's crazy. It's trippy. This whole thing is trippy.
Yeah.
And another thing is my favorite holiday, single or not single, is Valentine's Day.
Oh, are you serious?
And today we're doing this on Valentine's Day. And I think it's beautiful.
Yes. I actually was wondering, I was like, does he know it's Valentine's Day? This will be so...
It's meant to be. This is a day of love. And there's nothing I feel towards this child than immense love.
Yeah. Christian, this has been wonderful. I think Josephine is so incredibly loved, and you guys shower her with love and talk about her. And as we close, can you, is there anything you'd like to tell us about her that we may have missed?
Not only was she going to UPenn, but no, I just, so ready to be a father.
Yeah.
And I wish she was home with me now. I wish she wasn't on my lap. I wish she was on my lap, excuse me. I wish I was holding her hand. But she's not in that form. But I'm still so proud to be her father.
Christian, thank you so much. That was
Thank
a
you.
beautiful way to share your love and share your Josephine with us. And we're so grateful that you were able to be here with us today.
Well, thank you for doing this. It's like I said, it's vitally important for people to speak, to hear these stories, to share their experiences, to know you are not alone.
Yes.
And for those first few weeks and months, we just felt so alone.
Yeah.
And no one understands this grief unless you go through it.
Yeah.
No one understands it. So it's been nice to find our community.
Yeah. It really is. I am always so grateful for these conversations, because I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, this really, really stinks, but there are people that get me, get us, and understand what this heartache, this, like, seriously, your heart is like ripped out and parts of it are missing. You're always going to be that way.
Totally.
So thank you again, Christian.
Thank you.